I've been asked if there's any way to be legally exempt from tariffs and other taxes. And the answer is yes. But before I get into that, I'd like to briefly discuss a relevant issue that I think all U.S. citizens should be aware of. Did you ever wonder why we don't have any major catamaran manufacturers in the U.S.? Well, at one time, we were at or close to being number one in terms of numbers of yachts built. So what happened? Well, in 1990, our genius lawmakers in Washington passed a law mandating a 10% luxury tax on yachts, private planes, and cars over a certain price point. I think with yachts it was 100,000. Everything over 100,000 was taxed at 10%. So what was the result of this law being enacted? Well, the high-end yacht buyers just went to other countries. And the major end result was that our yacht building business was destroyed. The U.S. lost most of their yacht builders, and 33,000 yacht factory jobs were lost. Not to mention over 60,000 jobs lost in related businesses like yacht insurance, yacht sales, components manufacturing and installations, and yacht lending. So, now, the only reason I survived was that I was also a delivery captain, and I was a certified ASA sailing instructor, so I could make enough money to pay the mortgage. So now, to my knowledge, hardly anybody bought any yachts subject to that tax in the U.S. And I think the same thing is going to happen with this tariff. And the buyers are just going to go somewhere else because, you know, they just, it's too easy just to go buy elsewhere, okay? And so eventually this tariff should go away. Now, I'm not going to bother to speak about tariff rates themselves because, you know, whether it's 10% or 30%, it doesn't matter. Nobody will pay it. And also because there's too many ways to get around the tariffs. So now, here are some of the common questions I get about tariffs and taxes. So, question, if you buy a used yacht, do you have to pay tariffs? No, you don't. So just buy a slightly used yacht and you're exempt. Another question I get, if you buy a new yacht, let's say in France, and you take delivery there and register with the U.S. Coast Guard as a documented vessel, do you owe the tariff? So what do you think? No, you don't. You don't owe it unless you bring it back to the U.S., and then you have to import it and pay. So if you simply cruise around the Mediterranean or the Caribbean, you're exempt. Okay? Another question, what if you buy a new yacht in France, you foreign flag it, and bring it back to Florida? Do you owe the tariff? Nope, you don't, because foreign flag yachts are exempt. Okay, now another question. Do you owe U.S. Customs duty if you bring the yacht back to Florida on this same yacht? The answer is no. Foreign flags are exempt from U.S. Customs duty. Now, if this same yacht we're talking about, bought in France, foreign flag, cruises to Florida and stays in Florida for more than 90 days, does the yacht owe Florida use tax? Because it's being used here, you know, longer than the 90-day grace period. What do you think? The answer is no. Florida or foreign flag vessels are specifically excluded from that Florida tax law. And some of the podcasters have been putting out some inaccurate information saying that you would owe the Florida tax, but that's not true. So be careful who you listen to. I've been a yacht broker for 36 years, and I've trained almost 40 brokers. And in my experience, it takes the average broker 5 years to understand Florida sales tax and U.S. Customs duty. And from my observation, the states and the federal government are purposely vague about the ways to get exemptions. And I believe many yacht owners pay some taxes that they really don't have to because they don't really understand the law. Okay, so your next question might be, well, I want to foreign flag my yacht, so where are the least expensive places to do that for a typical catamaran? And there are many, but the most common ones are the British Virgin Islands, is one of them, but the cost can add up to say $5,000 or $7,000. And the most expensive component to this foreign flagging are legal fees. So some of the countries have just allowed the lawyers too much leeway to jack up prices. And so you just have to shop some more to find the lowest cost for there. Another place that's popular these days is the Marshall Islands. And the cost to register there is about $1,600 plus some company formation fees. So again, shop around for those corporate agents who will form your company. I've also heard Gibraltar is pretty cheap, under $1,000, plus some nominal fees for the LLC, and that's a British flag, so that's a good flag to have if you're sailing around the world. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is another good place that we see a lot, and that's about $1,000 plus some legal fees. So another question I get is, if I do get a foreign flag, what is the catch? And well, the only catch is that when a foreign flag vessel clears into the U.S., like here in Florida, we get a lot of them, especially in this marina, you see all kinds of different flags. You have to get a cruising permit. They're usually for a year. They're $35, okay? And so before that year period is up, you must leave and clear out. And what most yachts do is they go to the Bahamas and they stay for a few days, have some nice cold Bahamian beer, eat some nice fresh fish, go swim in the clear waters, turn right around, clear out of Bimini, which is only 47 miles from here, come right on back and get another cruising permit for another year. That's all there is to it. It's easy, and they do it all the time. So if you're one of our clients, we take care of all these details for you, and if you'd like to see more helpful tips to save money and reduce hassles, just go to my website, largecatamarantsforsale.com, and then come on down here and see me here at the iconic Pier 66 Hotel and Marina. They're reconstructing some condos here, and they've expanded the dockage and made it all floating docks, so it's a beautiful marina. And so look forward to seeing you down here. Give me a call or send me an email. Have a good one. Yes, here's a Silent 55. This is all solar powered. It's here at Pier 66, and the panels are up on the coach roof and the hardtop up there. And this one is, it's registered in the Marshall Islands, and the port is Bikini. So that's what the iconic bathing suit was named after, because they were conducting nuclear tests over there back in the 1940s. So, well, there you go. PPS. Here is a 35-foot Power Cat here at Pier 66, and it's got twin diesel outboards, so you get a much more efficient fuel burn, and I think they must last a lot longer, but this one's available for charter for sport fishing. So just another thing you can do here. And Pier 66 has come along quite nicely. The iconic rotating bar up at the top there is now operating, I understand. It rotates every 66 minutes. So, you know, if you leave your table and go to the bathroom, you might lose your wife, because she could rotate away from where you were. Just kidding. And these condos start at $4 million for the smallest one, so you know you better have a pretty big wallet if you come here. And here's a nice restaurant, shoreside. Anyhow, this is just another great place in Fort Lauderdale.